Hey guys, welcome back to Train Sim Classic again. Yes, Train Sim Classic. It's weird. I feel like I haven't made this many Train Sim Classic videos in more than a year. But Switchpoint Simulations will not get out of the kitchen. They will not stop cooking because now from Switchpoint Simulations we have got the Canadian National SD70M-2 pack. Canadian National's very own ace counterpart, with of course DC traction motors instead of AC. Original purchasers of the M2 were of course the Canadian National, along with the Florida East Coast, my home rails, and Norfolk Southern, and CN being the most units. I believe they had about 190. They were built in 4 orders between 2007 and 2001, with number 8952 painted in a heritable GTW colors. That was back in 2020. Now, the Dash 2 and the M2 in the engine name indicated it was EPA Tier 2 compliant, along with upgraded electronics like the SD40-2. Think of it like that. Now, the M2s came equipped with either the 16-cylinder 710 G3C T2 or Tier 2, or a non-Tier 2 prime mover. These things pushed 4,300 horsepowers. Now, this pack is going to include everything else that these lovely ACE packs also included. Everything, including 4K textures, custom sounds, new horns and bells, lots of variants, you name it. We'll go over it here shortly. Like all other Switchpoint Simulations wares or products, we have a very nice manual. They have a strong manual game. This is just as strong as any other manual they've made, including all the keybinds, what everything does within the cab, the different types of engines from the different build numbers, all that good stuff, all included in the pack. Again, free. If you don't know anything about these new locomotives we're getting from Switchpoint Simulations, I'll try and pop a link in the top right-hand corner for the first SD70 ACE pack. Welcome to Jasper, Alberta, in Canada. We're on the Yellowhead Pass by Milepost, which is the route builder of the route that we're currently on, and a perfect place to run these Canadian National engines, of course, right here at the crew change point for CN. We got the town over there with the old steamer as well. These are the engines that you are going to get within the pack. You're going to get 4 variants. Now, there were 4 build orders, the first of which being the 8000 through 8024. These can be equipped via the editor with CN's own unique PTC array, or the original array. This one has roof lights as well. Non-isolated cab, which means this is a loud boy thunder cab. So it does not have the the distinct line between the cab and the frame of the engine itself. What else? Oh, no marker lights. So this one does not have the fancy Canadian isms, the marker lights on them just yet. Oh, and it's got the long shades as well. So it does not have the gull wings. It's got the original long shades. And of course, it looks incredible. It's 4K textures. The modeling still just absolutely pristine. We have to keep in mind, I have to pinch myself, this is an all new model. This is not a reskin of any old Dovetail or Kuju or Rail Simulator US, whatever the hell engine. This is a legit 100% new model and free. I don't know if I mentioned that numerous times already, but it looks very Canadian. The colors look very appropriate. The black, the white, the red, the yellow sill, the CN on the side with some very nice weathering to boot. You do have some different things such as the inverter grates, jacking pads will change depending on the engine series and range and all that. The curvature on that bit right there, you can even see the FRA designation number on there as well, and that reflective tape. I mean, these things are mucho spicy. Very good looking engines. and they pop, man. They have some nice poppiness. The next one in the line, these are the 8800s through 8849s. These have the nose lights. This one comes equipped just by default because I plopped it down with the original antenna array. And it does have the fancy marker lights. We'll go over those in just a minute, which is kind of a cool and very unique thing to Canadian National that they run on the backs of trains for, you know, helper units. Whether I know they man them, they will man them, but they're radio powered as well. At least I think they man these, or they'll have them on the back. Maybe they'll have the other engine manned, you know, in front of it. Anywho, non-isolated cab again on this bad girl. And these are the gull wing shades that I was talking about, which the difference between those long ones and the newer gull wings. You'll also notice there's no weird, funky Canadian designation for the engine on the side like this one here as well. The GF643D still says SD70M-2, but it doesn't have the other bit. There are some other little bits and bobs. Like I mentioned, some things you can change, whether you plop it down in the editor by default or you change it within the editor. It's all located within the manual if you would like to do that for yourself. And then back here we've got the 8850 range through 8964, which of course has the nose lights. We still retain the marker lights. These are the isolated cabs, so they're a lot more quiet to operate than these, because just like the ACE packs, if you operate a Thunder cab versus one of these ISO cabs, you will notice it is loud as hell. You know, these things are still pretty thunderous, but not quite as much, obviously. This one's got the gull wing shades as well, and other things as well, like the inverter panels and jacking pads and stuff like that. You know, you can change on the fly or change, you know, plopping them down. And then we got this beauty right here, the Grand Funk Western, part of the namesake of the original Canadian National line, the two defunct or dead lines that became the Canadian National. Or it was Grand Trunk Pacific, I think. It was Grand Trunk Western. Anyway, same kind of lineage, grandfatherisms and things like that, but a damn good looking heritable. The GT units have always just been super clean. The blue and the red really pop. The white sills, it just stands out. The very large GT logo right smack dab in the middle. It's a damn good looking unit. Look all around. You got all the appropriate little icons like the like stretcher and, you know, first aid kind of deal on there. That's on all these engines denoted on the door. You've got the F decals for the front of engine, electromotive decals on the side, and look how frigging crisp and clear that is. Manufactured in Canada, assembled in Canada. Model SD70M-2, serial date 2013. This thing was painted in 2020, I believe. Emissions information, engine family, EMD G071ES1. Whole lot of stuff on there if you want to take the time to read. This one's got the designation on there as well, GF643, what the hell? H. Well, the what the hell is not in there, obviously. But good looking unit. The handbrakes also changed as well from the original to the revised. All kinds of little different bits and bobs that go into these. But let's hop in one and run it for a minute and see what's different. Oh yeah, that whomp of the EMD. All right, we got a grainer and kind of a manifest setup here, headed westbound down the Alberta. And I've got 1 liter, I've got 1 mid-train engine, and then we got a GT unit on the back there. We of course are in the isolated cab, so it won't be super duper loud, but let's go ahead and click on this bad girl. Let her load in. There goes the crossing. All right, let's get this pup set up. First and foremost, let's head to the back. That's, you can tell that's the non-ISO cab. Let's back up to the mid unit. Good God, that thing is so much louder, man. Whoa, 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 whoa. You can also tell the interior as well doesn't have PTC and all that safety gobbledygook either. All right, here we go. So we're back on the back here. This glorious GT unit. Ay, 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 ay. All right, so the marker lights, right? I've seen some videos of these. I'm sure like a lot of you have on YouTube. I don't know if they run low heads like we do in the States, right? That's kind of denoting the end of the train or the engine on the end of the train, so on and so forth. I think they just run the markers. I'm not totally sure. Any of you Canucks out there or anybody that knows any better, of course, let it rip down in the comments. Maybe they run both. I don't know. But let's go ahead and turn those off and turn the markers on. So let's get back inside. We will go switch that to off, and this is a trailing unit. So cool thing about these engines, you plop it down on the train wherever the hell you want to run it, you're done. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to come in here and do anything else. I'm just doing this for the purposes of setting up the marker light. So the heads are off. Now you hit Control Shift M, I believe. Oh wait, Control M. There we go. And now they're on, baby. We got those rear Canadianism markers. Very cool. I think they're on the back as well, depending on which way the engine is running. And that's the Control Shift M. I think I messed up there. So there we go. Control Shift M, and now they are off. Man, this thing looks good. I gotta say, I'm a sucker for the blue Canadian National units. Well, that blue, man, it pops on these engines. Of course, the one I'm talking about, Canadian National unit, being on one of the bongers, the bongers. This is a non-bonga. We don't bonga here in this instance or video. All right, let's go ahead and get back in. All right, we're back up front. So one of the cool things with these units, again with weird Canadianisms, is the bells. So this one's got the weird Transtronic bell that you can switch. You don't have to run it if you don't want. So by default, I'll pop the bell on. Just your standard old Graham White E-bell, but if you hit Control Shift B, it tells you up in the top right hand corner, switch to Transtronic. And it's got that weird kind of old school steam engine bell. Of course, we've got the crossing up there, you know, messing us up too. So we'll leave that on for now. You can see the Canadian National Radio designation on the, well, the radio designation on the radio. All right, let's throw that to run. I think we're set up on the back wall here. Pop our lights on. Yep. Yeppers. Okay. Slot our reverser in there, Shift R. Again, all this stuff is denoted in the manual. Super easy, guys. Gen field switch, number board lights, onboard lights. We're ready to let this tater chip rip. All right, throw it forwards. We got 3 engines. What are we looking at? If you hit Control I, just like the other packs, it brings up your status or your information. Consist length almost 6,000 feet. 1,400 ton. That's a bit of a chonker. It's a bit of a chonker. Not too bad. All right, let's see what it takes. Crack the winders. We'll let that air pressure equalize. We'll go ahead and give it 1 notch though. Man, these things look good. The colors just look amazing. They really do. Switchpoint has been cooking. I mean, they don't... I was going to say they don't really cut any corners. They don't cut corners. Like, saying really imposes that they might cut a corner or two, but no, they don't cut corners. These things are nice, just like everything else that they've released here recently, and my God, they're free. I mean, we've got East Coast, West Coast, you know, with CSX and... you know, the BN GP30s and the, you know, the SD70 ACEs and on and on and on. Canada now, I mean, we just need some CP and Norfolk Southern, which I know they're cooking some other stuff right now. But, all right, EOT move. Let's get it. Got that nice K5LLA as well. I think that's possibly Canadian tuned, because they have their own kind of tunes, sounds, tones, Canadian tone tune. Let's do a little distance test. Oh yeah, baby. Man, that thing's friggin' loud. Yeah, but the M2s are cool. They're very cool to me because here on the Florida East Coast, there were some. Long before my time, of course. Never got to see them. But they're still cool. You can look up pictures. The liveries that were on them were sick. It was just a neat engine. Yeah, it was, you know, poo-poo DC traction. But still, it's neat to have. Give her another notch. Let's go to the back. Come on, get her ripping, GT. Let's give her another one. We're going to stretch this puppy apart. We're like a chiropractor for train handling. A bad chiropractor. Just so fluid. Watching all these units work within your consist of your train, the way these things are set up, and the way they have these things scripted, it's just, it's amazing. Like, it's, you know, I try not to get all excited. It's hard to do sometimes, but God almighty, man. Brand new model. Epic sounds. 4K textures. The simulation within these things, everything you can do, oh my God. Like, it's almost too much for my feeble mind to comprehend, and I'm just like, you know, brain dead. Well, I am brain dead for the most part, but like, it's just, it's hard to comprehend with these things. I mean, it's insane. Let's go check on that mid unit. The mid unit that is not mid. It is very, very unmid. There we go, rocking by them sulfur cans. Yeah, buddy, get it. All right, we have crossed the crossing. Now you can hear the bell on the inside. We'll check the windows, interior. There we go. And the horn. That sounds amazing. And you've still got all the other stuff, you know, that you got from the other packs as well. Different cameras. You've got different placards in here to go with the other Canadianisms. Let's see if they added anything on the back wall back here. Yep, this one's got Canadian National Railway Code up there on that inspection chart. Even says SD70M-2. See? I was expecting for a minute to look at this and it still say ACE or BNSF or something like that. Nope. It says correct stuff. I mean, it's too much, guys. Take a break. You've deserved a break. You still got your French donut. Yes, I am going to finish that croissant. You can throw the marker lights on up here as well, of course, being on the front of the train. That'd be kind of dingus. But lordy, lordy, these things look good, man. I don't know if there's too much to go over with these that I haven't gone over with the other videos covering the SD70. The newer SD70s like the ACEs and obviously the slightly older M2s. But geez Louise, man. We got some Canadianisms in Train Sim Classic now to go along with the very cool older stuff from Diesel Workshop that you can run up here as well. The ML dubs, the Canadian Alcoisms. But man, look at these glorious things. But yeah, guys, go and pick it up. I'll link it down below, as with some of this other stuff. If you have any questions about this thing, pretty much everything's answered in the manual. But if you have, you know, peeked anything I haven't, you know, which is very probable, let her rip down in the comments. I tried to look these things over pretty good all morning for the last couple hours, and I'm enjoying myself here in Canada with these puppies right here. But that's it, guys. I'll link down below where you can go and find these things. Go get them and let them rip for yourself. Bye.